This podcast does not intend to offend the rabies community.
It's just jokes!
Don't you hate it when you go to the beach and rabid spiders crawl out of the ocean during high tide and crash right over you, giving you an unwanted spider crown, and then you get bit and you get spider rabies? Yes.
Oh man, I hate that I got spider rabies. Not again. Mommy's gonna be so mad at me.
I was just minding my own business when curse you, spider crown. Curse you, high tide.
I kind of like them.
Stay tuned after these messages to find out more about your spider rabies and to find out how to treat them. There's a spider in here. Rabies, no!
So I had you on. I asked you on here. Oh, by the way, welcome to the treehouse. By the way, the spooky treehouse.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, how do you like it?
The treehouse?
Yeah, how do you like being in here?
It's nice, very well decorated.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome. Yeah.
So synchronicity. I remember us talking on our road trip last year about all these. I don't know how you'd even classify them, because they're not really conspiracies, are they? They're like, I don't know. What would you call them? How would you classify them?
Like synchronicities themselves, because we talked about a lot.
We did talk about a lot. Yeah, like how would you classify synchronicities?
Okay. I would classify them as somewhat of a coincidence, but with slight deeper meaning.
What kind of meaning could that be?
That is where it gets a little gray. The deeper meaning could be like you're meant to do something and you're like, okay, this is a sign, or I probably should reach out to this person or something along those lines. Or it could just be interesting, like, that's cool. That's happening.
Yeah. So everybody is in the loop. When we say synchronicity, we're talking about, so for example, 2 days ago I watched Back to the Future, and later on that day I open up Instagram and there's this video of a cat walking through what looks like a miniature DeLorean from Back to the Future that says time machine in front of it. So it's obviously a Back to the Future reference. Just random things that match up in your day-to-day life that just happen. And, you know, it's almost like a deja vu kind of thing, but it's what hasn't happened yet, I guess.
Right. And so, like, recently they've been happening between us. And so not even it's reoccurring in my life, but I share something with you and you're like, that's so strange. I was just talking about that.
Yes. Do you remember any like examples off the top of your head?
The little duck.
The little duck, yes.
So, to give context, I was on a walk with my dog, and randomly out on the mountain, there is a tiny little duck on this rock. And I thought that was so random. So I took a picture and I snapped it to John. And he immediately responds with, "Oh my gosh, I have a whole lot of them and I leave them everywhere."
I do. I have a little bag of tiny little ducks in my locker at work, and I hide them everywhere, and just people find them. And Lily just happened to see one.
All the way out in Utah.
In Utah, yep. And I just got that bag of ducks, too.
Oh, okay. So this isn't something that you've been doing for a while. This is kind of just... So it's even that more random.
Yeah, so like I just got the ducks. What I do normally is I have like a bag of tiny plastic spiders. Like the spiders are more my thing. And I was just like, you know what? It might be funny to have ducks too.
Yeah, so that something like that, or I don't remember the other thing that we were talking about, but I sent you another snap not too long after that, maybe a couple days later, and you were like, that's so strange. I was just having a conversation about this topic. Mm-hmm. So we're in harmony, I would say. So we're synchronizing.
Yeah. Even
though we're nowhere close to each other in the country. So I find that fascinating. So I also have things that go on in my life that somebody that that I follow uses this analogy like feather, brick, truck. And if the universe, or I'll just say universe for the wider audience, no matter what you follow, but if the universe wants you to pay attention to something, or you have like a gut feeling you should pay attention to something, they're like, it'll give you like a little feather, like, hey, notice me over here. Maybe you should go and do this. And then if you feel like you don't pay attention, you're like, and you walk away, all of a sudden a brick will come at you. And it's like, hey, no, really pay attention to this. And you're like, I think I'm good. And then the last one is truck. Like a Mack truck is just gonna, it's like, okay, I get you. Fine, I'll pay attention. And I feel like some of these little synchronicities between us are kind of hinting at something that, is going to either come up or has come up between us, for example.
Okay. All right. So like random example. So the more on the linked, like since we're siblings, do you think that's why we're more linked?
I think it does have something to do with it. I do think that siblings do share a bond that you can't really explain. And, our bond seems to be a little more random. Like, it's not like a feeling. It's like, oh, hey, I see a duck and you have ducks.
Yeah, exactly. Like, not even like something from our childhood, like the Rugrats.
Right.
Like, look, it's that episode we always used to watch together. It's on TV right now. Like, no, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about like something completely random. I want to say like one more example I have off the top of my head. I went to a Goodwill, and the first thing I saw when I walked through the door was this blue T-shirt, and it said, "Joy to the fishes in the deep blue sea, joy to you and me." That song, and it had a picture, a cartoon fish on it, and I was like, "Mom would love this shirt," and I bought it. And the next day, I called Mom. I didn't mention the shirt. I honestly probably forgot about it. But she started singing that song out of nowhere. And I was like, wait a minute. Let me show you the shirt I just got you. Not to spoil the surprise, but I gotta tell you. And I sent a picture to her of the shirt. And neither of us could believe it.
Yeah. So it's kind of like those are the bonds that kind of hold us together, and they're random bonds. And I love that, because it's not like you can rationalize it. Like, oh, this Rugrats episode that we always watched that when we were younger, so that makes sense. It's kind of like, this doesn't make sense, and that's what makes it cool.
Yeah, that's what makes us pay attention.
Exactly. Yeah. If it was something that we were very familiar with, I know me and your attention span is pretty short, and you're like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
So yeah, like that's like, if we're out in public, like you live in a different state and I live all the way across the country. Like if I hear, for example, we used to listen to Nelly together a lot. If I hear Ride With Me on the radio, I'm not, that's like nothing. I'm not going to be like, oh my God, Ride With Me's on the radio.
Yeah, no, I actually, Ride With Me was on the radio today.
Shut up. No, it wasn't.
It was. And I was thinking like, oh yeah, they should play more Nelly on the radio.
There you go, folks. There's your example.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and it was funny because I got a rental car today because I'm going to leave tomorrow. And before I left my parking stall, I was like, obviously I need some tunes. So I was pushing the arrow to go through the stations because I don't know the stations here, even though I live here. And I'm like, okay, none of these have songs on them. And the only one I could find a song on was Nelly. And I was like, all right, Nelly it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, of all the examples I could have picked from, that's crazy. And that just happened yesterday or today?
Like an hour ago.
Oh man, that's awesome.
That's, yeah. synchronicities, like a lot of people try to put meaning to things, like, oh, what does this mean? And I think that's cool. You know, it's something to think about. But in the reality for me, I'm not really putting any meaning to it. I feel like I need the truck, like the feather brick truck.
Mm-hmm.
I really need a truck to come and be like, hey, listen to me. Because I'm like, oh, these things are cool. Yeah, let's, you know, that's nice. And then I'll, 10 seconds later, I'll forget about it.
Yeah.
And when it comes to like us, like if I stop and actually think about it, now that we're having an actual conversation about it, I'm thinking, well, maybe it's telling us like we need to hang out more, or I don't know, but,
maybe.
Or we could just see where it goes. And because I know we said we wanted to have another trip, and I feel like if we keep getting these nudges, it'll just happen like naturally.
Yeah, because I mean, there was a while where we didn't really communicate, for a couple years, and ever since like we kind of bridged that gap, I feel like this has happened more and more. And it, in a way, if you look at it this way, it could be the universe saying, yeah, keep, stay in each other's lives. You're supposed to be in each other's lives,
Yeah. And I think these things are helping us stay connected. And just for everyone listening, I'm not, and I know John isn't, like choosing, I'm not going to talk to my sibling.
Yeah.
Like life just happens, and it's like, oh, hey, I haven't talked to you in a couple weeks. No, it's been 2 years. Sorry about that.
Oops. I haven't literally seen you in 4 years. My bad.
My phone died, but it's charged now.
New phone, who dis?
Exactly. But
it's charged.
yeah, and I
now.
think it'll be fun to see where these things go. And because this randomness does get our attention, I feel like, hey, it's like what works for us.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
It's exciting to see, because so a couple of days ago, it could have been earlier today, but things are blurry for me. So either a couple of days ago or today, I was actually thinking about me and you doing another trip, because for anybody listening, the last trip John and I did together was super random. All of a sudden I woke up one day and was like, I want to go to Arizona, never been, and I want John to come with me. And so I call him up and ask, what is he doing on his days off?
Yeah. And I have 2 days off in a row, so valid question.
And it just so happened that he was free, which is not always the case, because you stay pretty busy.
I'm always doing something.
Yeah. So it just worked out, and he flew out to meet me in Arizona, and I flew out in Arizona. We got a rental car, and we did a road trip all the way up to the Grand Canyon, and then drove all the way up to my house at the time in Utah. But that was how random our trips are. And I feel like it fits into our synchronicities as well. Like, because around that time, I needed some time with you, and I didn't know why. I just was like, yeah, let's hang out.
Yeah.
And I feel like it was reciprocated. And so, things like that, I think will just fall in place in the future.
It's almost like life's leaving us a little trail of crumbs parallelly. And we're both seeing each crumb at similar times.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I do think our Snapchat helps that, because we can't break the streak.
Yeah. What's our streak at right now?
I have no idea.
I'm going to look. Our streak is 743. So my friend, I texted my friend asking him about synchronicities, because he knows a lot about this kind of topic as well. And when I say topic, that's when I was asking in the beginning, how would you classify this? But he just said, I haven't really heard that term, and I'm reading this word for word from a text message, but sounds like the universe wants you to know things are going accordingly and to follow your gut to the fullest.
I agree with that.
It doesn't really makes sense for it to be a bad thing. And that's really the only way it really does make sense. If, it's got, almost, like I said, almost like a deja vu kind of thing. Like, you're on the right track. You're where you're supposed to be.
Yeah, and when it comes to good or bad, I think that so this is also something I thought about yesterday, because I heard the quote and I love the quote, and it's only a problem if you make it one. And I'm like, oh, that's so true, because we're in our own way when it comes to having a problem. And so if we see a sign and we're like, oh, that's a good or a bad sign, I think it's like, I'm going to interpret it as a good sign, even if others might see it as a struggle. I think this is meant for me in some way. And that's how I'm trying to look at things going forward.
When you see that bad sign, it could be like a representation of what you're going through, like the universe saying, I see you. This,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like you are seen, you're not forgotten about. Like this
isn't a doom. This isn't doom energy. This is, I got you. You're good.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Which is, it's fun to think about it in that kind of sense. And between you and I, when I think about our signs, but like our synchronicities and just what's been going on between us, I think it's ramping up too, because it was just like here and there, but lately they've been like going pretty fast, and I don't know what that's about, but
yeah, no, seriously, like we're saying there's 7 days in a week, like we'll find, I don't know, four out of 7 days something will happen.
Yeah, exactly. And the other 3, something might have happened, but we probably just forgot about it.
Yes. Because the aforementioned attention spans.
Are you sick of board games? Then you're in luck. Made by Spoken Ink Studios, the game we always needed. My Foamy Know Me. You spin the wheel, flip a card, and try to make your way to Highway 101, avoid the bandage man, and make your way to hear The Weeknd sing Starboy Live.
Call today. Be the 31st caller if you want the vaccine to live.
I was on TikTok, just looking up, basically my For You page is conspiracy theories and videos of people walking out into tornadoes. I have no idea why, but conspiracy theory, this has to align with the pyramids. I found a TikTok about the pyramids, and I kind of fell down this hole, and this was kind of a one-time, 1 hour thing, maybe 2-3 weeks ago, so I don't really have much. There's a theory that the Washington Monument, that shape up top, that pyramid shape, the pyramids in Egypt and around the world, there's a theory that that could just be the top of them, and that they could go so far down into the earth. Have you heard that?
Not that one specifically. I was listening to this meditation, and it was an interesting meditation because in between the meditations, they were talking about topics, and the pyramids was one of those topics, and how they're all over the world, and they're underneath the sea as well, and they were sources for energy, and they have been decommissioned in a way because they were abused, and they weren't energy from this world. And so like there's conspiracies around all of that, but that's curious to learn a little more about the Washington Monument one, but I'm not going to go looking for it. But it'd be funny if like within the next week someone's like, so have you ever heard about
Yes, I know. Or you're going to see like a picture of Washington DC with the monument right there.
Yeah. And I love learning about the different conspiracies, because it's only a conspiracy until proven true.
Yeah, then it's just
by the mass public, right?
Yeah, then it goes in a book of weird facts.
Or until the government releases a classified document now saying that it's real.
Yeah, Area 51, JFK.
Yeah, just to name a couple.
But I have one question though about what you said about the pyramids before we
Okay, and I
move
have
on.
one answer.
Okay, you said there's pyramids all around the world, which yes. You also said that there are pyramids in the ocean? On the ocean floor?
Yeah. There's a lot of pyramids.
Can you...
ocean.
This is 100% pun intended. Could you take us on a little dive on that?
So keep in mind, I came across this information like 2 years ago, so it's not too fresh in my mind.
Okay.
But I believe the Bermuda Triangle has some, probably at least 3 pyramids down there. And there's just been ancient civilizations that utilize these. So do you remember the movie Atlantis?
Yeah, the cartoon?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That has a splash, no pun intended, of truth in it, according to the people that talk about it, right? So, I mean, there's little hints and little things everywhere. So it's like you're already good with the information. So it's like, okay, that makes sense. So it's kind of like that, the way he was talking about it with the pyramids and everything. And this was not just like a 30-minute conversation. I listened to this guy talk for like 4 hours.
Jeez.
What did I do with my day that day? I have no idea. I just remember this was a whole thing.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
How did they get there? You think like they were put here before?
How did they get there? They were built, and the ocean. They were not covered by the ocean yet, and I wouldn't say they were built by humans. And I'm not saying that that's a fact that I believe. That is, I'm just relaying information. I'm just the messenger, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't there in this body, at least. But so, another topic.
Yeah.
But, that is what I've been. That is the information that I've come across. That that's a possibility. They do know that pyramids are on the bottom of the sea floor. He even said if you pull up, I think, Google Maps and look at like these specific coordinates, you can see them, in the waters and things like that. And they were talking. There were some things they were talking about that I thought was a little weird, and I was like, I'll leave that. Take it or leave it. I would leave some of those things, but the pyramids I was really interested in because. If you guys don't know, which you probably don't, John and I have been very interested in Egypt for a very long time.
Yeah.
I was super excited back in the day in 3rd grade when I learned hieroglyphics. No, I can't say the word, but
it's okay. Hieroglyphics. Jeez. Hieroglyphics.
See, now that you're thinking about it, it's a little.
Is it glyphics? Hieroglyphics. All right. We lost half our audience.
Yeah, see, this is the attention span.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, I don't know how they got there. I don't know what they were used for. I do know that according to the information that I heard, they were huge sources of energy that was not, and it utilized the Earth's energy coming up from, the core of the Earth, and it went in, I guess it went out of space or something. I don't really remember the details, but I just thought that their take was interesting, and I think I was just more fascinated that, hey, just like you, like there's pyramids under the ocean. Like, really?
Yeah.
Can we go?
Yeah.
We see them?
Well, we'll do a deep dive on the pyramids one of these episodes. One more thing I found interesting about the pyramids is if they are just surface level, if they are just the pyramids as if we see them without anything underneath them, what did they tell us as kids pyramids were used for? They told us that they put pharaohs in there, mummies, whatever. There's no mummies in there. There's no pharaohs in there. I learned that there's no dead bodies in the pyramids.
And you know what I learned about that, which was actually less than a week ago?
Huh. Stop.
I know.
We're on to pyramids now. We can stop synchronizing.
I know. I learned that they actually used to eat them.
The bodies?
Yes, but it wasn't like the people would eat them. There was something around that would eat these things. And so like that's why they would pull out the brains and pull out things, because they would eat them. And I don't know if that's true or not, but that fact was just given to me I'm not saying it's fact, but that piece of information was just given to me a few days ago, and I thought that was interesting. And I'm like, oh, that would explain why there's no bodies in the pyramid.
Yes, they were all eaten.
So if that's not true, then like, that's cool. But it's something that we don't know.
Yeah, I mean, wait, so you said they take out the organs because...
Yeah.
Okay, so do they eat them, or do they eat the bodies, or the organs, or both?
I don't remember, but I don't remember, but I just knew that they ate them, and that was part of the process. And so I don't know if they ate the organs and then they embalmed the rest, or if they took out the organs to eat the body. I don't know.
I don't know. It sounds like a Jabba the Hutt kind of situation, where he has little minions bringing him people as food.
Yeah, and I'm not saying I believe that, and it's just it's just weird that came across my radar less than a week ago.
Yeah, and here I come walking along.
I know, and I didn't share that fact with anyone, by the way, because I was just like, that's weird, like.
Yeah.
When I heard it, I was like, that's strange.
More along the lines of like tabloid things,
Yeah. I was just like, that's strange. Like, and I don't know what I was listening to, but I don't, in my free time, I'm not listening to conspiracy theories in my free time. That's not my podcast of choice.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind listening to them, but I'm not Googling it or searching it. So so that fact just randomly was like, hey, like, did you know? I'm like, oh, I did not know. And that's interesting if that was true.
That is crazy. I mean, something that I would say as being the devil's advocate in that kind of conversation would be, then what was up with the emphasis on preserving the bodies?
Yeah, I don't know. And in that same breath of them saying they're eating bodies,
this is so crazy. What are we even talking about?
Exactly. It was something about like not like the Bigfoot. Do you remember the Cyclops in the Odyssey?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was an actual thing. You know how the Cyclops wanted to eat people? Mm-hmm. And they had to they were saying that these Cyclops were real and would eat these people. And they were... it connected somehow, like the Cyclops and the mummies.
Huh.
Yeah, but they hunted them down, and then they killed the Cyclopses and stuff. And they found and recently there was some sort of paper that said hey, they found huge skulls in a cave and stuff, which is why I think this topic came about, because they found those skulls and remains from these Cyclopses.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing something about those giant enlarged skulls that were found.
Yeah.
How, I don't know, inferring that people used to be huge.
Yeah.
That's what I got out of that. Now you're bringing the Cyclops theory in, which is very interesting. Do you think they had one eye, or do you think they were just huge?
I have no idea. I just remember them referring to the Cyclops when they were talking about it. So
maybe the Cyclops, maybe Cyclops, I haven't looked it up, but means one-eyed thing. Maybe it was something with one eye, I don't know, something really big, like a extinct animal that's bigger than an elephant,
Yeah, and when I learned this information, I didn't really dwell too much on the eating people part, or the fact that there used to be large people. That was, okay, cool. But what I thought of in that moment was, oh my gosh, there was, how in school they teach us that humans are at the top of the pyramid, and when it comes to killing things. And I was I wonder what other things were alive that were a threat to humans back in the day, because, as I guess they evolved, or just things happened, like things, like died and became extinct. But my thought went to, I wonder what else was alive that was a threat to a human.
Honestly, yeah. It'd be really interesting to cross-reference cave drawings, and not only just cave drawings, but they had hieroglyphics, like we said. See all the things that could be what they were talking about with the big skulls and the cyclopses.
Yeah, and all of this stuff I just find fascinating, because it's information that it's like history uncovered. Like, I always thought history, like in class, was boring.
Same.
It just didn't click for me. But when it comes to this kind of history, I'm like, oh yeah, let's dive down into the sea, and let's look at these pyramids.
Yeah.
Let's go in the caves.
Oh man.
Like, let's take a field trip, the ultimate field trip.
Now, if this was just a regular conversation at a dinner table or on the couch somewhere between me and you, I'd just keep talking about, like, something about a giant squid I saw on the internet not too long ago, this and that, but those topics will be saved for another time.
Yeah. So, I'll be back on your podcast on other topics and stuff. But one thing that the viewers might learn about us is we can talk for hours, and our conversations just jump from one thing to another all the time.
Yeah.
So it makes road trips fun when we do take them.
They're so interesting. If only I was one of the bugs trapped inside the car, being brought to a location I didn't ask to be brought to.
And SWAT at a couple times.
Yeah. Not only are you kidnapped, you're bug napped, you're getting attacked at the same exact time. by giants.
A story from the perspective of the fly on the wall.
Yeah, into those cyclopses, we are those tiny little bugs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's just an interesting time that we live in, and I feel like it's coming full circle, like we're discovering things that, happened back then that, was never brought to anybody's attention until now. And
yeah.
And that we're just scratching the surface, and whether 99% of it is not true and 1% is true, I think that just the journey excites me alone to learn about all this stuff.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, Lily. Well, thank you so much for coming up to my treehouse.
You're welcome. Where's the ladder to get down?
I have the rope ladder stored away right here behind my mini fridge, which everyone knows is my favorite thing here.
Yeah,
actually,
I do like the magnets on it.
Yeah, I love the mini fridge. Yeah, I have a Scooby-Doo magnet. It says Zoinks. Zoinks!
Jeepers.
All right, well, we will see you next time, and I bid everybody adieu.
All right. Bye. Thank you for having me.
All right, and you will be back on the podcast, so everybody, if you enjoyed this, look forward to more, because it's going to be fun. This show is going to get fun.
Oh, yeah. This was just the introduction.
Yes.
To all the possibilities.
All right. Cool. I'm just going to end it there.